Where's it going? Okay, I'll do that again. I'm Linnea Madison from Lake Park Drive. And I guess you're next. Welcome.
I'm Scott Conrad. I work for Aquatechnics. I'm a applied biologist. I just moved here from Massachusetts, so. I lived here previously, but.
Dana Day, Clark Street.
Jody Keys, Daisy Lane.
Dave Congeezer, City of Tumwater, Water Resources Specialist. Patrick, oh, sorry, I'll just do Patrick real quick. Patrick Soderberg, Water Resources Manager.
Tom Sparks, the condos in Orange Lake Park.
Carissa Parvin, condos of like.
A new volunteer.
I'm like, wait, now I'm kind of like Barnes Lake condo.
Orange Lake.
Dan Smith, Water Resources Director.
Happy Peterson, Mark Street.
Judith Love, Lake Park Drive.
I think that's it.
That's everyone who's here.
Is anybody online? We have a couple of folks, looks like member of the LMD, Mark Free. We have Bonnie Blessing and Jerome with Jolt News. And Bonnie Blessing is a local resident that has a lot of experience with wetlands and frogs and other kind of environmental needs out there in the world. And she had just asked a question earlier this week and make sure she had the link. So I guess she might have some questions for contractor this evening if you're willing to open it up to the general public for that too. So with the public comment, that would be an appropriate opportunity for Bonnie or Mark to provide comment.
So no Rusty up there.
It's weird because he posted about otters.
Yeah, he's
He had
here.
photos of the otters.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, it was.
Was it dead? Or was it in your house?
Oh, it's in your yard. Well, it's been a few weeks now, maybe a couple of months. We had a dead one on the
Oh,
road.
oh.
And if you want to know more about it, she's buried, or I think it was she buried in the bottom of our garden.
Oh.
And it's horrible to find it been chucked on the side of the road.
Oh, yeah.
Where was it? An otter?
An otter. I didn't go and look. I left that to Ed and the neighbor.
So of everyone who's had a chance to look at the minutes from the last April 3rd meeting, are there any additions or changes or concerns?
I move that we approve the minutes. I reviewed the minutes. Right,
I have,
and I
thank you.
to accept them as written.
I believe her, so I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So the next item on the agenda is public comment, and we do have a couple members of the public here today online. Bonnie or Mark, do you have any comments for the LMD?
Hi, I have three kind of quick comments. I noticed the consultant proposed Clearcast, and a friend of mine, Amy Yonke, did her thesis on a Mazapier, and I think Clearcast is related to a Mazapier, and it didn't. A Mazapier didn't have a lot of bad effects, if at all, on frogs. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then secondly, a friend of mine is doing a diffuser project where they're doing they have a diffuser on the bottom of a pond and it's cooling off the water temp. And I think at some point in the future, can I just recommend considering or discussing whether a diffuser could lower either phosphorus in the pond if it's a problem, or water temp, because he's had success like lowering water temp with a diffuser, which is where bubbles come from the bottom of the lake. It lays out this pump thing, but just in the future. And then thirdly, I advise a student on algae in like other lakes. And since you're either harvesting or treating bladderwort, Utricularia, it's this aquatic plant and it's carnivorous. I was just wondering if someone could arrange that, like, we get some this summer and be able to like just get some so that we can find out what it's eating. Because I think they eat algae and mosquitoes. I'm done. So 3 points. Can I get some bladderwort, a comment on a diffuser, and a comment on a Mazapure or ClearCast? And I'd love to hear what Aquatech next has to say about any of that.
Yeah, right. So good with ClearCast is a cousin of the Mazapure. It's actually a Mazamox, and that actually has the EPA's distinction of reduced risk herbicide, which means it's safer for wildlife and humans, both. For the diffuser, that is something that we can look into, but it's really based on depth. Anything below 4 feet, you really don't want a bottom-based diffused aeration system, because it just stirs everything up and allows more phosphorus to be in the water column for algae to be there. And for bladderwort, it mostly eats like zooplankton, which is eating the algae and things like that. So.
So the bladderwort itself does not eat the algae, as far as you know. Okay.
In some species may, I would need to look at those specific species.
Bladderwort, if you want a bag of it, Bonnie, come on over and get the rig.
I want a bag of it, okay? Yes. Just let me have a bag of it and I'll go away. Yes. Later on. Thank you. All right. Bye.
Thank you, Bonnie.
You're welcome. Bye. Yeah.
And the diffuser is an interesting idea because there are areas of the lake that are deeper than.
I think we discussed that once a long time ago, didn't we? And
Was
the
that-
water's too deep or something. It was,
Or not deep
Or it's not
enough.
deep enough.
or not deep enough or something. My memory.
Water quality data that I have suggests that we start churning out water from depths. We stir up that low dissolved oxygen, which could create some problems. And I mean, it would be, I guess it would help with stratify the temperature, but then you kind of lose some of that refugia for the critters that like the different temperatures. So having like a uniform temperature might cause some to, not have a place to go. They need to cool down or warm up.
I would think that ultimately a diffuser would have an initial cooling effect, but overall would have a net warming effect because you'd be mixing it up and you wouldn't have that separation like you're saying. I think, like if you have a cup of coffee, if you stir it, it gets cooler faster than it does if you just leave it and sit because it takes the heat only off of the top. When you stir it, you bring all that heat up and then you continually are removing the heat by bringing it up.
Isn't the bottom like a lot of squishy? I mean, when I put out my leg in, I try to get it back out right away.
After you're gone.
So
Go ahead, sir.
the diffuser would help with that situation because it would allow for more decomposition at the bottom to occur because
Oh, so it'd be a good thing.
yeah, so decomposition requires oxygen to be present, and in some of those areas, depending on depth, it can allow for anoxic conditions, which means no oxygen at the bottom. But adding a diffuser system can add oxygen to that layer as well.
Yeah, I think ultimately too, as Dave continues collecting water quality samples, as the work that has been described by Aquatechnics in their scope to get underway with the lake, which is a continuation of the stuff that Northwest Aquatic Ecosystems was doing for us. We start to look at, all right, what are some good tools that can be used on this lake to improve water quality, reduce the amount of vegetation that the undesired vegetation that you have around the lake, and continue to kind of progress the goals that the LMD has set up. So that's what I think the continuation of the work that Aquatechnics is talking about doing with the surveys and the assessments and then the water quality work. You combine that, we've been collecting this work, and now the results of that work is going to start paying off in what do we do next, right? And so I think our next planning level attempt really is 25, because I think we did one in, in 07. And then came back 10 years later, 2017-ish, we did a kind of an update to the IABMP. And then now we're looking at, 10 years before the expiration of the LMD, saying what's the next 10 years look like for us? And so we'll have a new vendor on board, we'll have some additional water quality samples to look at. Then we can all kind of as a group come together and say, okay, where do we want to go with this? What technologies exist out there in the world to help us, achieve those goals? So I think we're in a good situation now to carry these questions forward that we hear and kind of develop what that next plan looks like, especially with, bringing on a new vendor today. So
you were saying like 2027 is kind of a target time.
well, according to the 10-year look ahead we did last year, 2 years ago, 25 was the date, but that's flexible based on where we're at, based on what information, we were able to get with Aquatechnics. And do we need this right now? But next year, 25 is 10 years prior to the expiration of the LMD. And I think we wanted something to guide towards the end of that. And then just as we get to the end of that LMD, 34, 35, it's hard to think about that in terms of actually years, right? But that's when we say, okay, does the LMD need to continue? Okay, and if so, what does that next 10-year work plan looks like? Because the LMD will then have to come back to the city council to renew the LMD, go through the whole process, similar to what we just did with the rate, increase. We're going through that whole process in 10 years from now. So we'll have a 10-year plan ahead of us, and then a 10-year plan at that point, understanding that if we stop doing any work, the lake converts back to where we were, and nobody wants that. So there's the next 15-year look ahead for you all in 30 seconds or less.
Yeah.
Got that? Everybody got that? Good, all right, cool.
Okay. Any fear I guess.
Okay, does that still then line up with the increase of temperatures that are not normally calculated?
Are you talking about lake temperatures?
Yeah.
Well, those, again, we'll continue to look at those on an annual basis. I think Dave's collecting, during the summertime, collecting at least monthly. We have temperature, actually water level data on a daily basis out there now, right?
It's on the Hobo.
Those will all play into those planning events, like for next year, 2025, 26, and then again at the end. But all of that data will feed into the work that they're doing.
And how long have we been doing like temperature readings?
Consistently, we had some initial data in 07, and then I think it jumped to 2016, and then 2019, and then every year since then. So when we do our water quality sampling, we've been going out and taking it monthly, but now we have it on the Hobo data logger, so it's taking it every 12 hours. So as we build that, and that's been the last 2 years now. So with that little minor hiccup we had there.
Good
Battery.
Okay. Any more public comments?
Yeah.
Moving on to member comment.
Somebody's
So we have.
I think Bonnie.
Could I just ask one? Do you ever see harmful algal species out there? There are not so many other lakes. I don't think you do. I don't think Barnes Lake does, but just.
We haven't collected algae samples for a number of years, because when we were collecting them, we weren't finding anything that was of any
Awesome.
relevance to the case. So,
Awesome,
so we
perfect.
stopped collecting, and we haven't seen any algal blooms out there.
Doug was
Be
looking.
harmful.
Yeah,
not
for a
bad.
while. Doug was looking for them, but we never
Yeah.
really saw anything that amounted to anything.
Cool. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Hey, Bonnie, can we ask you to mute? Oh, I think we got you. Thank you. Member comment, I think you're right.
Any member comments?
I have a question. Did we get our assessments?
Have you heard from Corey when she was sending those out? Those went out today, I think.
Haven't heard because we just got the newsletter done today,
And yeah, I saw that earlier.
so that was supposed to.
So, right.
So I need to talk with Corey, see when they're gonna go out, because the newsletter that we have has hyperlinks in it, not great for print. So we want to make sure that folks have the same contact information that you can get in Constant Contact or what you'll see online. So if she hasn't already sent those out, because yeah, that is the expectation, is that we'll send that newsletter out with that.
I get every time I go home from these meetings.
You get questions, yep.
Yeah, when is this?
They've been waiting for us to be done with the
Yes.
newsletter, and they
We're
wrapped that up.
anxious to pay.
They wrapped that up today. No, that's a good thing. We like
I know,
to hear that.
it's
See, we make you all wait, a couple more months and then y'all want to really pay it so bad, you want to just get it done with. So that way when we send the bills out, they get paid within a month.
Yes.
It's that anticipation, which, big notes for the future.
Okay. Well, then I think we can move on to our guest tonight, Scott. Or the status, I guess. the
Yeah,
status.
well, I would say, let's move the C above A and let's, have Scott introduce himself and kind of talk about their work program, that they've agreed to. And then, when we're done there, I can just follow up with you about some of the questions I have on the status of the contract. Bill.
So start off, I'm Scott Conrad, I'm a aquatic biologist. I went to the State University of New York in Oneonta. I have my environmental science degree. I've been doing this for almost 10 years now. I started in 2014 up in New York and have traveled around the entire East Coast doing lake management, and then also came out here for 2 years and then went back to the East Coast and now I'm back here again. Actually same company, not the same company as East Coast and West Coast, but I came back now after the East Coast. But we've been managing lakes for almost 40 years as a company, 40 plus years as a company, all around the Western US. So I guess we're trying to keep things similar to what Doug has been doing in the past. So like bladder wort control, water lilies and water quality and stuff like that.
So yeah, the lake, I'm sure as you haven't been out there yet, but you get out there, you'll experience, there's a lot of shallow. We have some old, we had a bathymetric survey done many years ago, but it's like the goal is to kind of refresh that, kind of make sure that you have all the same information where you're at. I know. If you can just kind of like walk us through what you see that annual program looking like from your perspective, and so the committee can kind of just like hear what your intentions are, like when do you think you might be able to get out there this year? What does that initial assessment look like? What does I guess Aquatechnic's engagement with the committee look like? I know we have a couple of meetings lined out. We'd love for you to join us at all of those if you can, but recognizing summer is a busy time. I think our next meeting is June 8th, and then after that, we don't meet again until I think later summer, just to allow the work to happen, right? And I don't know if we would need to meet June 8th because or 12th, whatever it is. Today's May 8th, right? Yeah, that's what I got. So, we might not need to meet depending on the work plan and how things are going. So, we'll obviously staff will be in contact with y'all to kind of figure out, okay, do we have anything to update the committee on, at that June meeting. And if not, then we might just punt to later summer and then, allow the treatment program to work and then come back in. So, yeah, it's got a question.
Do we have a contract?
Yeah, we have a contract. I'll figure out where that's at.
Okay.
I don't have a signed copy, but they have it and everything else,
Okay.
but I haven't received a signed copy back yet.
I can probably pull that up actually.
Do you need a copy of it for your work plan? Here you go.
So I'll probably be your guys' point of contact, and I live pretty locally here. I live at Black Lake Apartments right over by Buffalo Wild Wings, stuff like that. So I'm only 6 minutes away from here, or from Farms Lake.
Well, you'll love our new meeting place in about a month.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be quicker.
Walking distance.
We're gonna be over at SPSCC,
where's that?
South Center Community College.
Okay,
Yeah, so basically you just go down, you take a left out of your apartments and you go down the street and you take another left and you're right there.
gotcha.
It's close. What's close to City Hall?
Well, hey, then I'll be able to make whatever meeting.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, we'll probably look to treat the bladder wort probably after the window for contacts open. So contact herbicides, so Diclot is what we're using. It's contact herbicide. So July 15th is likely when we're going to start treating. And then the water lilies will be later in the summer. They'll be later in the fall. Because we want to be treating those as it's pulling nutrients down to the rhizome to be able to kill it there. And that's the best timing for clear cast.
What's your shallow water plan? Because as those water levels start to drop and we can get you some water level information. I know Doug he had difficulty getting in a boat mid-July and on, getting the boat in the water, and he was using an airboat.
Gotcha. Do you guys have a launch and everything? Because we also have an airboat as well.
Yeah, we don't have any launch. We have Dana's property.
Putting this back here.
And invited Kyle out a while back. He never got back to me on that. Still open to come on out, take a look and see what
Yeah.
you might need to do, because it's basically just a slope down to the water's edge, and there might need to be some improvements done. I think we have some budget for that.
I mean, that would work pretty well for us. Our boat can slide in pretty easily, probably.
When it was rocked last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I ever do that?
Decent shape.
They put rocks in,
Okay.
you know.
So you don't,
But it
you don't-
gets
you don't
pretty
go straight to
shallow.
mush.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, so Scott, what I'd suggest is, get a hold of these guys so we can arrange with Dana to go out there and take you guys out there for a site visit, so you can see what you might need. That way, anything you might need in the near term, we can get you going on it.
Perfect. Yeah, I would love to schedule a date with you guys to be able to go out and do that. I mean, I can make almost any time work. Yeah. I'm gonna have to take a little closer look at our calendar to see what days are available, so. But we'll definitely make that work.
Were you expecting one application in July? Is that the kind of the timeframe?
I believe so. I don't think there's anything different in here. Yeah, we should be able to just do spot treatments. Get those done. One treatment there.
Any other questions? Scott or techniques? It sounds like they'll be able to get ready going on this, for y'all. I'm here
So have you been
pretty soon.
to the lake at all?
I have not yet. I've been near the area of like Fred Meyer's. And
You've
stuff
been
like
all around.
that. Yeah, pretty much around it, then been to it.
It's
Um,
in pretty good in the corner.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's hiding.
perfectly honest, I just moved here from Massachusetts on last Wednesday.
Oh,
A week ago. So.
Well, welcome.
You're doing pretty well.
The weather's not always like this.
With what you can do for one.
Are you gonna be the primary technician on this job?
Yes.
How big is your airboat?
We have a 17-foot airboat.
I don't know
Fairly
how
large.
big Doug's was smaller than it was.
It's 17 foot.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
You can't get it much
If you look at the
smaller.
picture with Kathy and I riding on the back of it,
You probably
Oh,
right.
about 17.
okay.
You turn the fan and tip over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we do have a smaller one, but I'm not exactly sure where it is at the moment. I haven't seen it in 2 years, but I know we have a smaller one somewhere at the company, so we could potentially be able to use that out there as well.
Do you guys have access to an aquamog? You ever hear of those things? They're used for clearing ditches, for like irrigation districts, things like that. They basically, the way it's described, if you look at it, it has two blades on the front of an upturned, kind of a front plate like this, and it just chews up vegetation in shallow areas. You see something like that?
I have not seen that personally. I'd be very interested to see that though.
Okay. I know there's there's one locally, but we're not gonna get access to that because it's held by another agency. And I know there are some up and down the West Coast. I wasn't sure if it was with Aquatechnics or some other company, that might have these things. But in some of the shallower areas, the committee has examined over time is how do we deepen some of those areas? And part of it is like, well, we got to get in there with something like an aquamog. Whether or not that's the ultimate resolution, I don't know, but that was kind of the best suggestion we've got.
There are some things, something we don't offer the service ourselves, but I'm sure we have a contact that probably does.
Mhm.
It's called Hydro Rake.
Mm.
What it is floating, basically like a floating backhoe that has like a netting screen on where the bucket usually would be, and it'll be able to scoop out organic material and things like that, and be able to deepen it.
What was the name of that?
Hydro Rake?
Hydro Rig.
Yes.
So when you worked with clients with that, or had clients that used that, through another company,
Yes.
where did they get rid of the material?
That's a great question. So perfectly honest, I wasn't involved with that portion of it. Really what we would do is scoop up the stuff out of the lake, put it on the side, and then like a trucking company would come in and take the waste away, like dump trucks and stuff like that.
Right, because I know that everybody thinks it's gonna be great fertilizer and everything like that, but then when you try to find a place to bring it to, nobody wants it because it has no oxygen and it smothers everything. And so I know that that has been cost prohibitive in some of the other local lakes.
Yeah. The only site that comes to mind right now is all the way in Texas that they give it to, but that's, I think that's where a lot of it. Yeah, well, it has to be de-watered and then it has to be off-site.
Right.
It's not dredging, but it's like dredging almost. But
Sure. It's gotta be probably almost colloidal, right? Like kind of egg, like not really a solid, not really a liquid.
yeah,
I mean, if it's anything similar to the, yards and yards of stuff that was already taken out of the lake when they pulled the floating mats out, which is essentially the lake bed just coming up intertwined with the root mass that was there. Kathy took a bunch, a lot of the properties, Dana took some, I know, Gary took some, a lot of properties took it, we just pulled it out of the lake, pulled it on the shore, kind of smoothed it over and it's been growing good stuff everything. The condos took a bunch, a while back too, so, I mean, that would be another option, but like in those shallow areas, its access is still a major issue, like getting a hydro rink in there, probably we need to build a launch and, things like that too, which.
But we're not gonna helicopter it.
We looked at that, I mean, we've covered a lot of ground in terms of what can be done out there.
It took us 2 hours to decide it.
No.
Get a big one outside.
Well, I think the $100 a minute, fuel cost and the fuel flight plan was, I don't know if it took us 2 hours to get there, Kathy, I think we were there pretty quickly.
yeah, that was pretty expensive.
Yeah.
But it is a big issue in our lake that from previous sprayings, we have generated these, we call them the floating mats. And during the summertime, the bottom of the lake kind of rises to the top and there's then a couple feet, give or take, of water between the two. And we have gone to great lengths, really, to remove those floating mats because that is covered under our permit. But we run into the issues of what to do with them and they're very, very heavy until they're on the shore and dewatered, so.
And they're not level. I mean, they settle and so.
So that has been an ongoing topic and we've devoted quite a bit of resources to dealing with the floating mats, but we still have floating mats that can get in the way of attempts to treat the lily pads and other vegetation.
Are those the things that are more northeast of the lake?
They're bad up there.
And I've seen
They go to the
them move and drag it across.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
what is that? A floating island?
Yeah.
Next to the animals.
So next to that vegetation will kind of set sail sometimes.
Oh,
We named them.
Those are
Yeah.
I thought that was like intentional nesting grounds you were trying to use.
I wish it was that.
Yeah, I would.
Something like that, yeah.
Ongoing challenge. I'm sure you'll see some when you're out.
Well, I guess Scott, I'll go from, the only thing that we have, like I said, is, we've gotten the agreement off to, looks like Kyle, looks like you got a copy. And so really just making sure that you have it, you don't have any questions. I have a copy here you can take with you. All we need is you can notarize it, sign it, and get it back to me, or Bonnie on here. And we get the rest taken from there. It doesn't need to go through any more process, just once you get it notarized, you'll have notice to proceed, and sign and go, and then your primary contacts would be Dave and Patrick here. And you can set up something to go visit with Dana and be on your schedule and just, obviously keep us informed, and the public notification requirements will come out of your office too. So, just letting us know when you're doing that, so that way we can, make sure that the LMD knows, because once there's a boat out there, it's a question of, are they supposed to be out there? Or are they fishing? Because it's a no boat lake.
Called before.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
No wonder.
and we try once, if we can get good notice, we try and make sure that we have an email notification system around the lake that, we can get notice out. Sometimes, I get it the same day, but we'll try and meet you there, trying to do that kind of a thing too. So just keep us posted on that end.
Yeah, I'll make sure to be in good contact with you guys.
I mean, other than that, Patrick, Dave, any questions from your perspective?
Nope, it just looks like, I agree, it looks like you guys are just gonna keep doing kind of the same strategy, and then hopefully, as you're out on the lake, kind of figure out your own strategy for, next year, the subsequent years.
Is the line of communications between the committee members and architect always through the city, and who's the city contact?
Patrick and Dave.
Me and Dave.
Yeah, Dave, yeah, I would say email them both, one of them will get back to you.
Okay. Right.
As an example, I haven't even had an opportunity to say like, you're day long enough to check emails, so I mean, it's, it's always best to go through, folks will have a direct connection.
We were 3 feet away from each other.
All right.
At all times.
You can see how bad it worked when we got separated, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're sure glad you're here.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Without clapping.
And now we know you live so close. You should-
Yes.
They probably said, oh, Scott, welcome, we got the job for you.
But at your location, it's only $100 helicopter ride.
Yeah.
I'll get there in a minute.
Impressive, you came from New York or wherever to here.
You said that was the State University of New York, the ESF, Environmental Science and Forestry?
No, so it is connected to that, but it's at Oneonta instead of up in Syracuse. So,
Got it, gotcha.
so we're about 2.5 hours from there-ish, so.
And when I finished my schooling, it was a choice between there or out here. And I drove up there to Syracuse and there was 6 feet of snow on the ground. I was like, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. And I said, I'm going west. So get out of here.
That area is so rough for snow, it's ridiculous.
But school very well known industry wide for this stuff. All right, excellent. Well, you're welcome to spend the rest of your night here with us as well, or you can take the early gift and get going, or
Fairly efficient.
We always end on time.
Yes, at least.
And sometimes early.
And sometimes early and never late.
Well, it was very nice meeting all of you guys. I'm gonna.
Okay,
take up
see you
the-
later.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'll probably see you soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave you this. This was the cover letter from Bonnie. She talked about what some of the things she needed to copy. So you have that too.
Awesome, perfect. Yeah, so when I get this notarized, do I bring it back here or would you rather it
Yeah, if you can't bring it back in, mail it in, bring it in. You could probably even email a copy at this point. We'll be all right with that.
Okay.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Good to meet you.
Me too.
Thank you.
Thanks to you.
But Dave and.
Wow, congratulations, whoever, that's a good one now.
Yeah.
That's a big item.
Yeah.
That somebody else that's ready to hit the ground running this year.
Yeah, that was a nice surprise. 'Cause I thought we were gonna miss the whole,
Yeah, I did
whole
too.
year.
Yeah, we got an email from you guys. We had last day. We had some challenges getting somebody here today too. That glad somebody was available to show up and we hired somebody quick.
We have.
Yeah.
They say they flew him in just for this meeting.
Yeah.
What a better way to get started on knowing the, water lakes around here and especially.
Yeah.
in these general areas.
Tested his enthusiasm as whether he'd go to drive to the lake now. He just said we saved him an hour on the meeting,
It's
so.
quite easy to go to find a way in. to see
Place
it.
to
It's a
stop
city.
and look at it. I mean, that's the tough part. There's no real good viewing spot.
No,
We can provide some.
Right, yeah, I'm
Yours
just
is
talking about
better
if he
viewing
tries to
than
do it on
ours,
his
so.
own.
Well, that church property on the west side,
Oh, yeah, and you're driving around.
Go to the store.
go to the school, anyway. Yeah. Sounds good.
So, couple things on, lake levels and temperatures and, monitoring. So it's May, we're gonna start. Yeah, we're gonna start going and sampling. Still waiting on our new, probe device for dissolved oxygen and stuff like that. So currently we don't have one, because I sent our other one in for trade-in. So hopefully that will come. I've tentatively scheduled the first event for May 22nd. sure if there's anybody that's available for that or not, but it's,
What sort of availability would you need?
I think it's a 2-hour window in the afternoon.
To plan to come and do what?
Help with water quality monitoring.
Jump out in the boat.
It's, if we don't,
Oh, super, yeah.
if we don't have a probe, it's gonna be pretty darn quick and easy, so. There's literally just probably gonna go out and grab a water sample, that's maybe about the extent of it, so, hoping that probe comes.
So are you gonna be going out 3 days? Andres.
Yeah, actually, Wednesday afternoon, I'm fairly wide open, tentatively schedule it for 1 PM, and I can go.
Did you say May 24th?
22nd.
22.
We are gonna be using a new lab called Eurofins. They're up in Tacoma. And so we're not gonna be shipping our samples. They prefer us to just deliver them, so we don't have any snafus with delivery.
So what does that mean? That they have to be driven up there?
Hand off instead of mail or UPS or something.
If somebody's not available to do that, I can do it. No, it's not a big deal. I've asked this year to include orthophosphorus on our list of things to sample for, so it might be an extra sample that we're taking. That's the one that Doug recommended we do to help determine what is available for plant growth. Help us understand that a little bit better. So,
Cause I think we've only been taking total phosphorus. Is that
total
right?
phosphorus,
Yeah.
total nitrogen.
Yeah, and so there's bound and unbound, and I think that's what he was recommending, is that you do the ortho. So that tells you what is available for plants as opposed to what's bound.
Yeah, it's the state water quality standard is for total phosphorus, but I think we'd learn more from total phosphorus. So a few changes for our sampling protocols this year. Should be.
And did we ever get an answer about that, sewer line was suspected of leaking? The city was gonna check that line, did they,
So over at Dana's property?
On that line?
over on the,
Oh, they fixed it all. Yeah, they repaired the broken,
did they confirm that it was in fact leaking?
it was broken.
So the sewer line was broken and
Yeah.
potentially was a contributor to the lake.
Oh, I don't think it could have gotten down there.
I don't
It
know.
was like shoes.
Yeah.
Cause
Oh,
it went
okay.
that way
Going the
on
other
March
way.
Street. And then it right into the.
Oh, so any release, yeah, would have gone into the stormwater system and out to the issues, but we weren't seeing that.
Yeah.
So whatever break was happening, it was minor enough probably to be kind of captured in the soils underneath it.
Okay.
We weren't seeing any surface release of it.
Darn, I was hoping that was gonna be our problem.
Yeah. There's enough septic systems around the lake that, you know, probably other problems to be looking at.
But most likely it's multiple things contributing, so.
Fertilizers,
Yeah,
septics,
there's-
fees.
Yeah. Well,
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
Oh
did you
my.
guys see the 17? And no, Jim loved those 17 poops.
They keep coming up because I feed birds and the bird seeds will drop on the ground and they have taken over my yard, those geese. I chased them off my car, no. I need a big dog. I need a big dog.
Don't step on the food.
Yeah, right. They'll go away eventually.
Chase you.
Yeah.
And that too.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you're so mean.
Yeah,
We have babies coming. I mean.
Oh, yeah, 17.
I was thinking I counted 12, but
Yeah, there's,
each
yeah.
year. it's-
And I feel really sorry. There's one lone little baby and I don't know who his mom and dad is. And the other geese keep pecking at him and shoo him off and, yeah. It's horrible. They're so
drama.
mean.
There is on the lake.
There is a lot of drama.
Yeah.
We just need to get a family, a couple of parents and 12
Yeah.
little things. And they move up the lawn. And it's just fascinating to watch them, the older ones looking around and all of this. And then I haven't seen
Yeah,
them in the
what
last
they leave
week or two.
behind is just, oh,
Yeah, I finally just couldn't take it.
Really?
you did what?
Oh, I put some redneck looking.
Oh.
Yeah, you can put fences
That's
up
a-
so that they can't come up from the lake, and that, that's the kind of the passive kind of way to stop them from coming
They
up in here.
fly in.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they come, yes, they,
Yeah, but the baby.
The babies.
no,
Yeah.
babies.
Yeah.
That keeps it awesome.
A little while.
Yeah, I hear them flying over and they land, right?
You can do what the state capitol does and put about 5,000 pinwheels in front of, on the lawn. You ever
Is
seen
that what those are for? I could not
Keeps
figure
the
out what
birds
those
off
are.
the grass.
One dog will take care of it.
Right.
No problem.
Keep the dog busy too.
Yeah, y'all are welcome to borrow mine. It's well trained already.
I took a class in how to bark with people. Give us. That's great, yeah.
Kathy, I was correct in a minute.
Yes.
Okay.
Water
quality.
I won't be available for that.
You do anything.
Okay,
Oh, and I,
Future one, but
sure. We'll get, yeah, we'll get them scheduled out for the rest of the year every month, but May 22nd,
because that guy in our neighborhood,
yeah, Tim,
him, yes, yeah.
The team,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Payne, yes. He's over
Came from the city of Olympia?
formerly was it.
Zane?
Do you have a way to reach out to him? You're in communication.
Yes, yeah, and it's going out in the newsletter as well, a couple volunteers, so. Yeah. Water levels, I got the Hobo back online now, so we've got data recording. The green line is again the flexible leveler height, so we just came out of the flexible leveler being engaged and actually draining the lake, so now it's not just this time of year. So yeah, it's a big, unfortunate big data gap there that was really dry and really wet, so it would have been nice to capture that data, but we're back online now.
It would be interesting to see the date historically at which the lake starts to drop.
Yeah, so like right
Some years it's been, I mean, well, some years.
A couple months earlier this year.
right here, like we're at,
Well, it looks like it gets
We're
below right around
early.
mid-May last year, almost the beginning of June, and the year before it was almost July,
we're already 3 inches behind on rainfall for the year.
right?
yeah. Yeah, it's a good. And the spreadsheet will show that exactly when that starts to happen, so.
Cause it looks kind of like it declines at a fairly predictable rate. That would give the contractor a better sense maybe of when they'll run out of water.
That's true.
Yeah, and I think one of the key things here is recognizing that we're already below where we're at in April of previous 2 years, according to this data, just looking at the graph here, so. It might be at a disadvantage this year, and I think, Aquatechnics sounds like they have some options available to them, but I think the nature of the shallow nature of the lake will be, they don't appreciate the shallow nature of the lake just yet. And they will when they get out there and kind of.
Well, and I remember from Doug's report, there were areas that he could not applicate because there were what he
Dry.
called islands,
Yeah.
and so there's a pocket of water over there and they just can't get to it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, so that'll be, got to see it, but I was just looking at that data there, I was like, whoa, look at that.
And that falls in line with the drought predictions and stuff we have for coming up, so, yeah, it could be interesting this summer.
Yeah, it took a long time for the water level to come up this year, at my place anyway. Yeah.
And here's the temperature regime here for the last couple of years. Again, little bit of a data gap. We're at mid 50s currently when I was out there last week, I think it was. So we still got a little ways to go till we start seeing that optimal temperature for emergence. Although I did start to see some pond lilies and whatnot out there when I was starting to emerge. So it's not far away.
So this graph is probably exactly the opposite of the other one, if you laid it over them.
Yep. And that's all I got for data. data for now. We'll start.
Peaks and valleys, ups and downs.
We'll start getting some data rolling, when we start sampling.
Surface temp was frozen pretty solid in January.
Yeah.
All of this really is.
Yeah, that would have dipped way down here.
Yeah, I was way down there.
Yeah, that's kind of.
So I walked out on that ice and it was thick. It didn't even crack when I walked. Yeah,
Cause I saw it, I could see ice on the lake,
it was all the way
but I didn't
across.
know how.
That's only the second time since 2007 that I've seen it frozen all the way across.
I think that's when it was in the low 20s.
Yeah, it was cold. Yeah, we had a couple of 10-degree days and it
Yeah.
was
How far out did you walk?
not very far. Only where the water was gonna be about a foot deep,
Right.
2 feet deep. I wasn't gonna.
Becky, you're the one who walked way out on the lake once, right? In the late 90s?
93. Thanksgiving.
93. Like out to the middle.
Yeah, you know that kind of archipelago that is at the tail end of Lark Island, walked out to there and kicked out branches from the old orchard.
If I had snowshoes or skis, I would have tried farther, but walking.
Well, it
Like,
ended
yeah.
when I slipped and landed right there. and got
Yeah,
myself
ouch.
a black-
So that's what you got.
Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, and Bill Baxter, oh my gosh, when he found out it was me, he was so mad.
Oh.
It was like years later.
Yeah.
And I said that, and he said, you should never have been out there, and I
Yeah.
wondered which one of those kids was. Oh. Oh, and I never did go back out. You know, oh. It was not, it's no, absolutely.
Anything else under the subject of lake management?
I mean, as you heard me say, we just need waiting for the contract back from them. We'll sign it basically that day, once we get it back from them, and they'll be ready to go to coordinate and get out on the lake.
Is that your signature or the mayor's signature?
This feels wonderful.
Yeah, if it was the mayor's, it would be another month.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, we're ready to move on to
General
general
business?
business. So I guess, first kind of point of order, which I didn't get on here, is just that we have 2 applicants. Lynette was just emailing me a little bit ago. I didn't see the email come in, but I just sent you the link to get in online. However, we have Carissa here with us today, and maybe you could just do a general introduction of yourself, why you're interested.
Yeah. So my name is Carissa Parvin. I've lived, born and raised in Olympia my whole life. And bought my condo unit in March 2017 and been living there since. And I was involved on the HOA board member for the condos there, and had like more involvement with just handling that community. But I know Tom has been mentioning about this area for a while, and I felt bad.
I've been trying for
I
years.
felt bad. Like, and so when my position ended, I was like, well, Tom, I have for sure time. And plus I'm a person that likes seeing good progress toward what you visually see out there. I mean, I've always been a person raised on a farm where we'd go out and weed eat and pull the noxious weeds and all that stuff. So I'd be definitely happy to do my part in whatever guys you need that I can to continue the, good health and safety and beautifulness of the lake. It's just, yeah. Current job is just working as a paralegal at the Attorney General's office in labor and industry. So don't get injured on the job because I might see you.
Hear that, guys?
Yeah. Always make sure that roofers have their safety gear on, please. With that, we watch.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for coming, and thank you for
Yeah.
your interest in our
Yeah.
group. And I hope you can see that it really is a very functional group. I mean, this is one of the
Yeah.
most functional.
Oh,
Yeah. We weren't sure what you were saying.
But we've really accomplished a lot over the years, and it's just a good kind of cohesiveness and a good, it's just kind of a feel-good group. And another plus, I think, is that it seems like we really truly have the support of the greater neighborhood.
Yeah.
We give people lots of opportunity to come and complain or express their concerns or whatever, and they just don't even show up. And we raised our rates, probably noticed this year, which we were a little bit nervous about. But again, nobody really complained. There was one kind of complaints, but by and large, it just seems like we really have the support of the entire LMD.
Yeah.
And so that kind of makes this, I think, a nice group to be part of. We feel like
Yeah.
we're all in this together. So we would love to have you. It would be really nice to have more representatives from the condos, because that's a big part of the LMD. And they have not historically always been represented as well as we would like, so we would love to have you if you're willing to join.
Yeah, no, I will. I mean, sorry, I'm so slow about getting to that. I was through so much training at work. I think I was like, I need a self R&R, step away. Because I was seeing if I wanted to go under our mediation paralegal groups, and they definitely did a lot in my work's cases. But yeah, physically getting involved though where I live is pretty important to me. I mean, it always has been wherever I've lived. I think it's just getting involved, keeping up on just your environment. I heard that we have otters. I don't think I've ever heard we have otters. I was
Well,
like,
beavers. Yeah, there's a lot.
Bear, was there a bear last year?
It's been a while. That was about 6 years ago.
Was that 6 years?
Yeah, we had a bear,
Oh, you guys did.
yes, at midnight,
What
that
was that?
sort of thing. Well, it's a good few years ago now,
Yeah.
but I remember getting out of bed and thinking, shit, I better put some clothes on, you know. and-
Probably went to your
and
house on its way to our house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was sort of, well, it was
Very-
midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. We rang the police. And they found it wandering around the traffic lights, top of the road at about 8:30 the following morning. I mean, I can't remember it all now, but it was like. But luckily, we're on the slope, so we kept high up and looked down on the bear. Yeah, because we were pretty bare, actually.
There's really something. Are you on the Facebook page for the?
I'm not, but I can
Barnsley.
look for that to add myself on.
Yeah,
and
We
sure.
do post kind of just interesting happenings on the lake, and there's always, we have a turtle situation over on the drive.
Came face to face coyote in my yard.
Do we have coyotes?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's a coyote and a dog.
No,
no.
It's a four-legged.
Think of it
Yeah,
as
it's
the
a big
smaller
dog.
sibling of the wolf.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought you said it was a dog.
No, I mean,
But they kind of look like.
I meant dog family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Relatives. There is a lot going on.
No, yeah, that'd
Awesome.
be good to know. I think my most interesting animal encounter, I don't know if Tom remembers when I messaged you guys about my wood duck situation.
Wood ducks?
Yeah, so we were having, our siding was still rotted, and I didn't know how bad my other siding facing the lake was, because you have to go out and go around the corner to look, and all I know is I heard upstairs, like in the bathroom under the tub, this something scurrying and scratch clawing. I thought there was like a big rat or a raccoon, but I was like, how did it get in? And I looked and I was trying to figure out, I was trying to call like animal control, but then they were like, what do you have? And I'm like, I don't know. So I had to go up in the attic, and there is in my wall area, like a big tall 10 feet wall with like barely 8 inches gap. That is just opened straight across. And what happened is in one of the siding walls, because I could see light peeking through outside, is this creature came in and then it accidentally dropped down. When I had the light, I looked, I saw it was a duck's face. It didn't look like a mallard duck though, it was different. And when you thought about it with the claw and scratching and the, the wood ducks with their talons.
Yeah.
And what she's doing is they like going into trees
Doing the holes, yeah.
in the holes. But when she got in, she didn't realize what chaotic and how to get out. And she did the worst thing, which was to drop down there. So my parents in Oregon came all the way up to get a trap for me.
Oh my.
Because no one would try to, they're like, they're endangered. We can't touch them. I was like, well, I'm not gonna let it die in my house.
They're endangered instead of home.
Let it naturally die where it is.
Yeah. So
Trying to save it.
with the way it was crawling in the bathtub, there's one of my guest rooms in the closet, actually the walls right there. And we just have it pretty much like drywall. It's easy just to cut, make a pocket. And I did graham crackers to lure her in. I got her. And I just walked down to the lake and like let her go. She just flew away. I was like, oh my God. And I got a video of it. I was just like,
How long ago was that?
it is. Huh?
How long ago was that?
That was sometime in March, actually. It was,
This year?
no, it
Oh.
was a few years ago,
Yeah.
before we had the sign.
We started the sign project. We're taking care of some of those problems.
Yeah. So, but now, yeah, our anxiety is all good and we shouldn't be having any of those issues at all. But that was like the most wildest thing ever.
So you're volunteering your services for pest removal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Issues.
So have you submitted a?
Not yet, that.
Oh, Step.
I was like, I feel so bare. What?
Want a pen?
Definitely do that.
Yeah, she doesn't.
So, I mean, just to the, like you said, this is a very functional board. I think of all the advisory boards and commissions that, are listed here, Lodging Tax Planning Commission, Civil Service, Historic, Boards of Parks and Rec, it's kind of like the work that we do in our Department of Water Resources. It's very tangible work. You get your hands dirty, you get there, you get to build plants, you get to build facilities, you're out there working on stuff, right? And this committee is one that actually, is an active committee where they're doing work every year. You get to see the results of that work over time, especially. So if you look back in the aerial photographs of 2005, where the Lake Management District started,
Yeah.
you go to today, I mean, it's just tremendous, the amount of, I guess, progress and success this committee has had, working on the lake. So, I think it's, just to that point, it's an incredibly good committee to be part of. Our laborious application process, involves you filling out your name and information on here, telling us which board you'd like to be on, and then basically submitting a letter of interest, and or resume, or it says, letter of interest and a resume. So, and anything else you want to submit that reflects any kind of, qualifications or interests. And really, once I get that, I can set up a meeting, with yourself, myself and the mayor. And, I'm assuming there'll be a recommendation from the committee to move your application forward. So, depending upon, or if that doesn't exist, then, then we wouldn't set that meeting up. But, that would be our next step for you there, was to get you in front of the mayor, and then they would actually have an official appointment, of you at a city council meeting. I think most folks have attended their first appointment, but probably not their since and subsequent, appointments. So, that would be up to you. The mayor has a pencil she would love to give you. Actually, I think commission members get a pen. And maybe even a pin, so there might be some opportunity there for you. But that's basically what the process would look like. I would think if you got me application materials, by the end of the week, or even next week, we could possibly get you to the council meeting on the 21st of May. Otherwise, it would be the first Tuesday in June.
And we meet June 12th.
Yes.
Potentially.
Everybody just heard nothing's numbered this moment.
You can, if you wanted to start with that, get that back to me. I can even email it to you if you wanted to send a
Okay.
digital copy.
Cause I'm sure these others will be nice, but like, does as far as like management committee? My most interested in it. I'm sure others later as I live here in Salvador will continue, but it's like, this is my priority right now.
People get on this committee and they never want to leave because it's so much fun.
Right.
Well,
Oh, that's great. That's so
And, as part of the south neighborhood, we call it, that neighborhood, it is the largest, group of representative, folks out there, but right now, so we have 3 spots, where every other neighborhood has 2 spots. It's basically just weighted to represent the reflection of the ownership of the Lake Management District for that group, so, right now, we'd love to get a 3rd member too. I think we have Lynette from the neighborhood as well, so waiting to hear back from her. I know she didn't get the link, and so I'll connect up with her after the fact on this as well.
Alright.
Other than that,
Entrance, resume, I feel like this is back to job. I just feel like, oh god, I gotta go back. I know I was just hired like last year.
Less pressure.
Okay,
yeah, I would just say,
I
it's
know,
email
I
of
know.
interest at this point, and probably be really just,
I know.
would be sufficient.
I'll make it nice and
The
sweet.
mayor will really go over your questions, so I think no worries there.
Just as long as the mayor's not like, who's your most favorite historical figure that you analyze, I'd be like, oh god.
There was like a nightmare interview question I had
10 years ago.
Historical
Yeah. Streets, Trotberg.
Yeah, famous stuff.
I'll tell you, you're working for a state office.
Yeah, how else
George
do you know your
Washington.
city?
You know, the state's named after.
To be honest, what's the purpose of asking somebody who's your favorite historical
Person, I don't know. I think they just don't want you to say some crazy person, like Adolf Hitler. Yeah, yeah.
You've got to relate this historical person to whatever's going on.
Like I blanked out. I said some president, which was so bad I couldn't even remember the president's name. It's actually Ronald Reagan. But I was like, no, more about Ronald Reagan. I'm like, oh,
Totally dismissed.
my best friend, and I told her after, because I was blacking out, I said, yeah, that question just throws me off. What would you have answered? She's like, Queen Elizabeth the First? What are you talking about? I was like,
Cool.
Do we need a motion to support her?
So all I would need, is you and Tom, sending me an email saying, yeah, we support the application. So when I get all of her materials, I would copy you on them, ask you for your recommendations, because the mayor will ask. Chair support.
I'll make sure to get this to you within definitely less than a week. I'm gonna try to kind of get it to you.
Don't put a lot of resume.
But no, but I'll get on to it soon, because I know where things moving, and I just want to get that done for sure. Plus, I'm going with family to Ocean Shores this weekend. That's fun.
Oh, that'll be a good weekend for it. Right, Ocean Shores this weekend. I'm gonna feed the deer. When I'm not allowed to.
Little roads, you drive down and just go like that out the window.
They're everywhere. There's no hunting there, so they don't have anything to fear.
All right. Okay, well, on to the next 2 items. The budget's gonna be fairly straightforward. Assessments have not run out, and no bills have come in. So there is literally no change since the budget was adopted. I think I told you the last meeting, we brought the budget and the work plan to city council. They've accepted as developed, no real concerns or questions. Continue to be very supportive of what y'all do. As far as the work plan goes, I'm looking back over the last 2 kind of meeting points. Distribute the LND member outreach packet. That's what we were trying to get out with but not today, with the folks, so that we'll check in with finance, make sure when's that going out, because ideally, we get all out together that way, and the new folks that have moved into the LMD have the information, and they're not calling us, why are you billing me and threatening a lien on my house, kind of a thing. So they'll have all of the information that a new member would get. And Tom, I have a note that this year we were gonna try and get you some packets for LMD owners, as well, some extra ones for people.
And it's maybe worth adding for Chris's benefit that we really don't have trouble collecting our dues either. Almost everybody pays on time, and a couple properties maybe.
And those properties have declined over time, because I think some of the property owners that either had a philosophical issue with it or whatnot have moved on. And so are no longer part of the LMD, and so we see fewer of those, or have had other issues. We do where there might be a company owner that might have a financial limitation in terms of being able to pay something like a bulk at once. We do have opportunities to work with them on a case by case basis. It's not something we generally advertise, promote, but we want to work with everybody to make sure that we do this. So looking forward to June. This is why I say it's a potential meeting, is that really was kind of just to start, okay, hey, water level, the treatments have started, kind of have the contractor come in and tell us what they're seeing out there. I'm not quite sure we're going to see them on the lake before then, maybe. So stay tuned. If we have something to talk about, we don't want to waste your time either. If we have stuff to talk about, we'll put together a meeting packet and let you know. I know Patrick and David will be in touch with Lene and Tom in advance and say, okay, here's what we got, nothing or something. Do you want to move forward with a meeting in that?
Right. And so I don't know if you guys all caught it when Scott said he can't apply until July.
Yeah,
So the Department of Ecology has limitations or windows when you can apply based on the type of fish and habitat that they're applying to. A contact herbicide cannot be applied earlier than July based on what ecology thinks is in your lake. So that's why they cannot do any applications because they are going to use diclot, which is a contact herbicide. And so they can't get out in May or June.
Is that a recent change?
I think it's within the last 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know that Thurston County wanted to do their applications as early as March to get a very specific pondweed that creates these turions, and that's how they reproduce, and they keep coming out earlier and earlier, and so they wanted to apply in March, but they wanted to use either diclot or endothol, and they're both contacts, and so they put it in their prescription that we're gonna do it in the spring, and then I'm reading their application, and it was in July and August, and I'm like, what's going on? They're like, well, we weren't allowed to apply any earlier. So.
Yeah, I know we've had treatments earlier times of the year because I know mid-July starts to become that questionable period whether or not Doug could have gotten blown out.
Right. So, well, and fluoridone is not a contact herbicide.
Right.
And so they used that was when they did the whole lake application. And that's not a contact herbicide, it's a systemic, and so those are allowed to be used earlier in the season.
Do you know if the first, is it July, or he said July 15th?
Yeah, there's an example. And no sooner.
I thought we were exempt from that, but.
Let's look at the permit. Okay, so, again, even further reason we might not have information or, business to go over in June. So, that might, cause us to reflect, all right, well, if they can't get out there to July, do we want to have like late July meeting, kind of discuss what that first round of results worked with. I mean, especially as we have a new contractor, there might be some stuff that we might want to kick around with you, but, I'll leave that to these guys to talk about there. And then going out in October, November, same status.
I had a question about the June where, the aerial photo assessment, is that something that they're gonna be doing, or is that somebody else?
So they do have drone work in their contract. So, did you give me my scope back? I don't have the scope on here to talk about where that looks like for them, but they will be doing drone work out there because part of the license requires. Post-treatment surveys. Pre-treatment surveys. Let's see here. No regarding barge lakes located within the airspace. Okay, so post-treatment surveys. Survey, calculate percentage of vegetation control for that year. So at least on one of them, at least in this fall, they'll be doing it. Oh, multispectral drone to conduct aerial video surveying. So it's there and here as well. Oh yes, ideally they'll be doing that twice. But then everything else is as it seems.
I think one thing, like in looking at a minute ago, the time frame that it doesn't show the September walkabout until way down here, so we do an annual walkabout.
Oh.
And this year it's September 11th.
Okay.
We meet up at the Thursday walk.
Okay.
It's a wonderful, interesting, every year. It's
Like do
something-
the full walk around, but
And
Yeah.
we stop at certain people's houses, and it's really interesting because you kind of think you know what the lake looks like, but then you see it from somebody's backyard and go, oh my gosh, it's different.
well, you wanna do the drive around.
Right, yeah.
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 Somebody could have driven a van. I mean,
I mean, that is a walkabout.
they want the city guys driving the city van.
Yeah, we cheat, we call it a walkabout.
Yeah, we get,
They'll
we
just
actually
drive.
walk down to the lake every time.
Oh, that's true.
Some of us use a scooter.
Somebody
Yes, yes. Mountain bike. Do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
So other than that, just a couple of, I guess, administrative changes for y'all. You heard me allude to a new workspace next month for my team. We're gonna be out at South Puget Sound Community College. Dave, you see if you got a map of SPSCC on the internet, it's there.
Yeah.
And we'll make sure folks, I think your Mark 3 is on, but we'll make sure these folks will get there. But yeah, our team is gonna be moving into a new office over at SPSCC campus, the old horticulture slash natural science slash nursing building. So we took over half of that and converted it over to office space for our team.
The whole division,
What is it?
the whole division moves.
Yes, the administrative division and our operations folks will stay here for now. They're having a new building built over by Trails End for them, and maybe in 15 years we'll have enough money to be able to move our team back,
Okay.
be part of that group, because that's really, we really want to bring our entire water resources department together, both the field and admin folks for that stuff. So we have a nice 10-person table conference room. We'll have some really good opportunities for visuals, in there. We'll have 2 large screens, monitors for folks out there. And then, yeah, have a great new facility. So have you out there. We'll have some refreshments. We'll show you around the new digs, and then we'll get you involved in the next meeting. So Dave's just gonna pull up a map of the campus. If you've ever been to the campus, you can go in the back door, so to speak, I call it. You don't necessarily go in the front entrance, but it's the
Green top one over there.
here.
Yep, so you can't take a left.
Yep, so off of, like kind of on the backside, right across from the fields, right there is where you'll find our building. So I'm looking forward to them getting their athletics program back up and running. We have our afternoons or evenings filled with soccer matches and maybe other things as well. But yeah, building number 32 right there. That Dave's got his fingerprint on, or his mouse on. There's 2 parking lots right near that, so you would just park in either one of those. And of course, before we get out there, we'll make sure everybody has directions and knows where to park and all that kind of stuff too. So that'll be exciting. We're probably moving in maybe 2 weeks.
So if we don't meet in June 12th, maybe you could have an open house during daylight hours.
We will.
So we're
We have
not trying to find it in
Right.
October.
Right, we will have an open house at some point. We've got to get in there. We got to work out the kinks and all that kind of stuff, because it's going to be a big major shift for us out there and being kind of off centralized campus here. So we'll be kind of figuring out all of our IT stuff and our communications with everybody, and where is Patrick park his car kind of a thing, and we're trying to figure out all this as we
Yeah,
want to.
I don't know where to park.
Dan's running late, so why is Dan always parking behind the building, so, kind of figure all these little nuances out. But yeah, we're gonna have an open house, probably, we move in May, probably maybe late June, early July.
Are you gonna be associated with the college?
Yes, so because we are gonna be cited on there, we have to have some component of education as part of our program. And so we already kind of do with our connection with Stream Team and the stormwater crew. We do a lot of outreach and events and action projects like planting, things like that. But we are going to take it to that next level. We're going to develop an internship mentorship program for environmental science. And so we're going to be working with the college and Evergreen and St. Martin's to kind of really look at how do we develop that next generation of environmental scientists locally. I know when I graduated college out here, I thought my pathway was 2 options. I had federal or consultant. That was what I was going to do getting out of school. And then I got a job with someone. And I love this work. It's tangible, like I said. It's it's real. And it's local, so you get to see the results of your work on a daily basis. You work with great people, you work in a great community. So, we want people to realize that right in your backyard, you got some great options. And this is kind of complementary to work that the Clean Water Alliance is working on with the cities and the Port of Olympia to develop operators. And so how do we create those next generation of operators? Whereas how do we provide training programs, certification programs for operators, and stuff like, the folks, out in our shop and the field staff do. So try to merge those two worlds. And so that way we look at, the work that we do as Water Resources, there is that work that will continue in our local area. So and that'll probably be kicking off 25, so we're gonna spend the rest of this year kind of thinking about what that program looks like, working with the schools and saying, what are the needs? How do we go about the programs? I have, I think you all met Grant, Grant on our team yet?
He hasn't been to one of these meetings that I've been here.
Okay. Anyway, Grant does work with our local school district, Tumwater School District, developing programs for environmental science related work. And he's got some experience working with the state to get the program certified. So we'll be leaning on that experience. Plus, we've got some really good community connections, out there in the world to help bring some funding to that program. So that way we can hire on somebody to actually manage it and, help recruit interns. And we'll have some additional space in that building to support that work. And of course, being, working on having interns work alongside folks like, Patrick and Dave, that can also say, hey, provide us with some real world data. Like, hey, can we get them out on Barnes Lake to do some work for water quality? We have Personal Creek that runs basically right by our building down there, which, when I was presented with the opportunity to do this, I was like, absolutely, because there's so much nexus to what we do as a division, that this just makes perfect sense for us. And so really, that's that nexus, that's that part that we're gonna do with the students.
Personal Creek is the only water body River Creek that starts in Tumwater and stays in Tumwater pretty much all the way through it. We're responsible, Dave's responsible for it.
Yeah, we stopped putting wastewater into it, and we're pretty proud of that, a couple of years ago. Yeah, and now we're just gonna monitor its health and recovery and.
Well, I think it's notable that Aqua Technics had to import somebody from the East Coast just to fill that position. Right?
That's the thought. I mean, aside from Dave and Patrick, I've got 2 implants, we got Alyssa's from Florida and Nick's from Minnesota. And so it's like, yeah, it's, locally, granted the market is really difficult right now to find, anybody. So they're all national market, applications that are out there. But yeah, we want to create that cohort of local folks that know how to do this work, that have a passion for the work that we do locally. Both these guys know, coming out of my team, it's just like one of the things that I really want to know is what's your connection to the work that we're doing, and not just I have a degree in this, kind of thing. It's like Dave's got a lifelong history here. Patrick's been doing water quality work for many years, and he wants to see good, clean work, right? So it's like it's part of the process. How do we develop that environmental ethic, that desire to do this work and see good results out of it? So, really excited.
That's great. That's awesome that you have more hands-on too for the students. I mean, because I was just saying to my best friend, that's why I claimed so good at the paralegal degree that SPSCC had, because they had attorneys actually teaching the classes with their ethic work and really good ground stuff. So SPSCC is an awesome company.
Yeah, they do good stuff.
Like I was telling Scott when I chose to come out west for school, part of the programs at Evergreen it wasn't just theory. Right, you get theory and practice, and so for a lot of work that I was doing there, I was working alongside scientists. I was working with Thurston County staff to do actual studies, and so the same kind of concept in my mind about we're gonna have students out there collecting water quality samples. They bring it back to their lab, they analyze it, right? So you get that really old experience. So that's a big chunk of work that's to come. So we're all gonna be really busy at that, and while doing our day jobs at the same time, and I'm looking forward to that happening. And like I said, about 2 weeks we'll be moving in there. And our next meeting, regardless whether it's in June, July, or whenever, it will be out there, as will all of our future meetings be out there. And then I guess lastly, the next big change, because there's been so many dang changes for the LMD this year, is that I'm going to hand the keys over to Patrick for this committee. Patrick and Dave.
It's gonna take me decades to catch up.
I highly doubt that. You've got some good experience doing this kind of work. He's a great technical expert for y'all. And you know, regardless, I can't get out of this building before 7 o'clock on any given night anyway, so whenever your meetings are here, why, you'll be over in that meeting room, I'll just be over here, and so I'll just hear Patrick going, hey, Dan, can you come here for a minute? You know, so it'll all be good, I'm not gonna be too far away.
So, wait a minute, so when we have meetings, it'll be over there or it'll still be?
All of the meetings are gonna be over at the SPSEC site,
Okay.
in our new conference room that we're gonna have over there.
Oh,
It's not that far away, it's actually probably
The
even
same
closer.
distance. Yeah.
I've been coming for donkey's years just up the road, you know, this is.
I would say it's probably even closer, you just gotta go down, you know, over Crosby and you're there, right? You just gotta go down Crosby, Barnes Boulevard.
Yeah,
you're there.
once the construction's almost finished.
Yeah.
Then you move us.
Just go 7.
Yeah, there you go. We wanna show you how good it's gonna be, you know, elsewhere, you'll be so grateful for that. Yeah, I look forward to, you know, getting a fresh perspective with Patrick helping you all, and, you know, like I said, I'm not far away at all, so. I'll always be around and supporting the work that y'all do, so, really good, and I appreciate the time and support y'all given me over many years.
I will say that we knew this day would come. As your title kept going. So.
The reality is,
Many
it's harder and
thanks.
harder for me to give the attention to the committee that you all deserve, right? And, you know, they've been pulled in so many different directions, and, you know, I know with the work that these guys do daily, you know, they're more in it with you, you know, on that basis, so.
We go back a long way.
Yeah,
We go back a long way.
20, almost 20 some odd years,
Yeah.
18 years.
Is that the official handover, just like that?
It happened yesterday in his office.
I'm just learning about it right now.
Patrick and I have been talking about it for a little while, you know, and just said, okay, seems like it's a clean opportunity, right? We have a new contractor coming on board, we've settled the contract with them for the most part, I'll get in and take care of that. You know, we're moving locations, you know, we have the expertise of Patrick on here, we have the history with Dave doing the work that he's been doing with this group. You know, really, as like I said, I'm pulled in more and more directions. It's usually not until like, oh shit, Dave, we have a meeting tomorrow. Do we get the things together? He's looking at me like, I don't know. I think so, but you know, and then I find out that yeah, he and Bonnie had already been working together for a week or two, getting these things out the door. And so I know I have confidence that these guys got you. And like I said, I'll still be working with them to make sure that they've got, you know, what they need to feel comfortable working with y'all and make sure that you have the resources you need. And it's just a good time.
Having worked with you every step of the way, never been. Yeah, not at all.
Second that.
Yes.
And there it is. There it is. Perfect, yeah. And I think what you're doing up there, helping kids, that is, anytime you can get kids with the mindset of, especially if they love the outdoors, they like the environment, that's just wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've got some great sites around town that, you know, the team has been working on, you know, for years, and some new sites that they've just started working on that really help engage kids and understand why it's important for the work that we're doing, how it benefits the community, how it benefits because when I talk about environmental health, you know, it's like you need a healthy environment to have a healthy community.
Exactly.
That rolls uphill to, you know, all of the residents and folks that fish in the water, swim in the lakes,
Yeah.
you know, just breathe in the air, you know, all the way from, you know, temperature, you know, modifications and, you know, so, and then the groundwater that we drink. So it's all interrelated. Our team talks a lot about One Water, you know, because it's all recycled in one way or another. And it's all important to keep clean and fresh and keep all the critters and the bugs and the bunnies and the vegetation all working together, so that way we can have a healthy community for our people and our kids for generations to come. Right?
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah, well, give that a couple of years, we're almost there.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've signed agreements, they're working through things. And
Excited. I was like, please bring it back. It's terrible.
Favorites, huh?
you're getting something different. You're getting
Yeah, I don't think so. It sounds like more hours after, you know, 5.
So I guess the last thing really is you got a website update you wanted to provide?
Yeah, so what Dave and I did is we worked with our communications team to try to just kind of rework your website to separate the information for, you know, Barnes Lake. Who's going to read about it, right? So you have two distinct different audiences. You have the Lake Management District and the people who are concerned about what what's being done through this group on the lake, and then just the general public about Barnes Lake itself. So we split it up into 2 different areas. You'll have a landing page, and then from there you can kind of choose which path you want to go to. So your lake management district will have its own set of pages that you'll be able to see. So it has,
You go right here, these 2 links. Let me share this real quick before I start describing it in too much detail here.
so this is your landing page. So if you just go in, this is the first thing you will see. And then you kind of choose where you want to go from here.
So you get 2 options here. So this is where you can go here and you can stay connected with the constant contact. You can register right here. Makes it pretty easy.
Oh.
I might have, but it's good to go back on it.
Yeah. You can contact, so this is one thing that we wanted to ask the group is, do you want to be able to be contacted? Because currently we, currently there's no contact information here. So that's something we can add.
Because we didn't want to put your direct email addresses on a public website unless you wanted it on a public website.
No, thank you.
No.
Yeah.
And so what we were going to offer is to put our contact, and if they need to reach out, they can go through us, and then we can reach out to you to get back to them.
Yes.
Yep.
All in favor?
I
think everyone's in favor.
mean,
Yeah,
essentially, we're your government entity, right? So we're managing your lake for you. You guys guide us and how you want it
Yeah, but we
managed.
go rogue, so.
so we will change this to Patrick and myself. If you would like to contact your neighborhood representative, please contact us. We'll fill in these 2 vacancies. Which leaves 1 vacancy,
We
for
have 3 right now, yeah, 1 for Gary's.
Gary's
position.
position.
Oh, right.
Jody, if you know of any neighbors that, might be interested, knock on some doors and those things.
Is that
Think there's
included
somebody-
in the wood? Is it Linwood and Daisy?
I think so.
We've just never had it.
He never, he came to a couple meetings and he never signed up, but the other was one.
Jeff Warrington. Oh,
I know he's come to
yes.
meetings, I don't know if he was interested in the LMD, but I know he's.
He's wonderful. I don't know if he will.
Is he the one corner of Daisy Lane and,
No,
or,
he's kind of straight on, he's got solar panels on his roof.
So your landing page has got, constant contact, way to contact you. But then, as Patrick was saying, you got 2 options here. This is the newsletter that just went out today in constant contact, but it's gonna be going out with the assessments. It's kind of a weird spot to put it, but I think, for future, we're probably gonna stick, just to clean this up a bit, we're gonna stick these newsletters,
Into the Barnes Lake
in
district information.
what's the difference between, district information and rate info?
Patrick wanted to, Patrick wanted to describe
One's
that. a
about
little bit.
us, the other's just general information.
Yeah.
Stay off our lake.
So this is
Might be
about,
Buy a place and.
so if you're a member of the district, this is kind of where you'd want to go to find out about your membership. The fee structure, how to participate in the meetings, steering committee, ground rules, anything else that kind of has to do with this group. And the district itself. So we're probably gonna think about things like, what else were we gonna put here?
Well,
I think
one, we wanna, what would you guys like to see here? This is your page. What would you like to see? I don't know if you want your water quality information in there, It's kind of, what do you feel like your membership would benefit from being able to go to this site and be able to access?
So are the meetings gonna be on here and everything? I mean, the
Oh, like the minutes and the agenda.
the meeting minutes or?
On that previous page, is there a link to the meeting minutes and stuff? Because that's held, it's actually managed through a different system here at the city. And so if there's a link to it, there could be a link to that would get you where you're gonna go.
Okay, so you'd like to maybe see the minutes put in there?
Oh, the link to them?
And
Yeah,
agendas.
Yeah, I think so.
Under the.
If it's not already on the other page.
Well, if that, well, and that's the thing, is this literally
labels
just
again.
got put up, like, I think today or yesterday.
Yeah.
So, and the person went away for a week, so. It's one of those like, here, check it out, and you know, we need to get back to it. So we really wanted to try to get something together, show you, and then ask questions like, what do you think would add value to it?
Yeah, so the Barnes Lake info might be a good spot for the historical, water quality sampling and all that. Also the historical pictures labeled by year, and then also the IVMP should go in there and that kind of stuff. So that people can see all the different documents about, you know, what's happened over the years, and maybe that'd be a good place to link to the newsletter, the minutes from the meetings also. Or should that go under the district, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that.
Yeah, this was more, we were thinking for more general information,
Yeah,
if, you know, the members of the community weren't part of the district, that just wanted to, you know, kind of see some generalized
Yeah.
stuff.
Some of those game camera pictures that you had, that here's what we've seen around the lake, and if they got a date to them.
Sure.
Something like that would be good.
Yeah, your water quality data,
Yep. Water quality
water
data,
level
for sure.
data.
We can do that for sure.
I thought the information about the rates, because when it was sent out, it was like in major 4 different categories, but I think there's several more, like some of them are like 1 and 2, like the public. You know, that's only 2 are affected, and there's a couple places that there's only 1 in that category. And so the full breakdown of the
The fee structure.
the fee structure.
Yeah,
We had that one under the,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was looking, somebody asked me and I was looking for all of them, and then all of a sudden I realized, oh, I'm only looking at 4.
and that would be a good place to put the map that shows which streets are in which
Mhm.
representative district
Yes.
also.
so yeah, as, you know, as Patrick,
You just went right at that, the fee one.
do you want to switch this one?
Yes. Or that's the fact.
Oh, this is for the listening section. Yeah, oh, it does have this stuff in it though.
But there's others that aren't represented there.
Yeah, we don't, the website's not completely
Right,
built out yet,
Right,
so.
yeah,
um,
yeah, but.
So there will be more information, in this presentations here.
Right,
Um,
I just was saying that I'm really happy that it is included there. So that everybody can find their type of property, and as the fees change.
Less complaints about where their fees are going, all this money and stuff too, because they can really see what it's doing.
Yeah, and over time, that information gets a little dated. So, you know, it could be cleaned up to just say generically, percentage wise, you know, based on that data, where does those fees go, things like that.
So as we kind of develop this, if you guys can think of things that you'd like to see on there. Or, you know, if you want to see it organized a certain way or whatnot, just keep this in mind. We've got a new person in communications now, and Cook is no longer with us, with the city, so we've got new communications person's name is Margot. She's very prompt and receptive to any of these changes. I think Patrick and I sat down with her and did this in a matter of half hour or so.
And.
Yeah, just to kind of set it up so that we can add to it and improve it.
So yes, think about stuff and let us know if you want. to
So
see.
today I was trying to put in the Facebook page, the information about tonight's meeting, and for people to sign up for the constant communication. And but then you said that the city can't provide information to the Facebook.
We
page
can't
directly.
post to your Facebook page, like,
So that makes
Provide a
it.
link
So it has to be done via one of us.
He can give you a link and you can put the link on your Facebook page,
Yes.
but we can't
You can't
change your
put, like, you
Facebook
know,
page.
the little- no, yeah, gotcha.
So,
We can send you anything, you guys can put anything that we send you on that Facebook page, staff, because from a city perspective, we'll not be posting on, private
Fair enough.
pages.
Yeah.
what did you just say? Like,
Anything that we send you, you can post to the webpage
Well, but I
or to
couldn't
your
figure out-
Facebook.
But I couldn't figure out how to do that.
Or
So,
any links that we might send you or things like that, that's what you would do.
so I wasn't getting, I got that constant thing, this. This. I couldn't figure out how to link this to the Facebook page.
Go where that is,
So,
and then show how to just.
and
copy
I
paste.
was hoping Anne would help me, but she wouldn't, she left.
yeah.
So,
You just have
So
to
it's
face back one.
just a better way to help.
If these guys can't help you, whatever, then Bonnie might be able to help us in our department as well.
So all you do for that is you just go to this website.
Well, I think she wanted just the stay connected portion of it.
Oh,
You didn't wanna send this, did you? Or did you wanna send the
I wanted
newsletter or
to
you
send-
wanted?
I wanted to send a link to the newsletter.
yeah, okay,
Exactly.
yeah.
So you can, so that's what you do right there. You just highlight that bar that says your address bar. And then you right click and copy. And then you would open up your Facebook page and right where you're typing, you would just right click, paste it,
So when I would.
or
open
type it
this-
in.
When I opened this, is that what I was getting would be the blue thing across the top?
That's the
Yeah,
address for that.
yeah.
Now I
So
understand.
now unclick that so that she can see that it doesn't
This
change
one
when you're
comes
at the
in
page.
Yeah.
So Kathy, so when he's on the web page, that address is exactly right there.
Okay,
So when you have that open, that's basically gives you like, this is where it is.
Cause it was opening into a web link, not like a PDF or something.
So you can actually just go to this and right click this as well and copy the link. They'll do the same thing. Get you there.
Is our gauge, a live gauge that might be able to be linked right to the site so people could get the real time
No,
temp and level and all that?
we have to actually paddle within proximity to it because the Bluetooth doesn't travel very far. So we literally have to get within like 10-15 feet of it.
Yeah.
Because it's underwater and in a tube.
Right.
So.
And
Maybe
that's
there's a
about
button
right.
that says click and then data goes out there.
Right. Sometimes they'll get, yeah. I wanna know it 5 times in the day.
It's a train otter,
Yeah.
You can have like a little remote control boat that has like the little hobo thing on it.
Remote control submarine.
That might not be.
Let's have it.
It takes to get out on a boat, right?
Dave wants to.
It's like, yeah, get out there in the water every, summer afternoons.
It's gotta be a sunny day.
Oh, yes, we don't work on.
Big stormwater though, so I do like the rain, but I'll take the sun. In a boat.
Okay.
So that's that.
Good. Sure agenda item?
Where do you start? Wow, there's a lot.
I didn't even take notes on this one. I was like, I'm gonna have to watch this one back, because there's a lot going on today.
Yeah. Definitely, and you were gonna leave some chapters out.
Well, that's on video, so, hey, and, we have, the Jolt, so, you might become famous overnight, you don't even know it.
Uh,
Follow-up story on that woman who was walking.
The parking contest, the hot parking contest.
Yep, Jerome's the only one left online.
Well, thank you for staying with us.
All right, well, are we good? We're adjourned. Are you ready to get some daylight left?
All right.
Yeah.
Lunchtime.
stuff.
Right, thank you, everybody.
Hail to the chief.
All right, I don't know.
Welcome aboard.
This open house you guys are having, I think it's gonna be amazing.
So I was, just to let you know, I was involved in the Lake Lawrence and Long Lake Management District